Hello, my name is Elaine McRae. I'm a librarian with the Virginia Room, part of the Fairfax County Public Library System. And I'm going to show you how to narrow your search results in Ancestry Library Edition if your first attempt to get you far too many records to look at. So I'll begin searching, and I'm looking for a man named Josiah Reynolds. Now, Josiah lived in a small island off the coast of Maine called Vinyl Haven. And as I begin typing the place he might have lived, I get some choices. And as I narrow it down with more letters, I finally get to Vinyl Haven. Go ahead and select that location. This will help us later when we're trying to narrow down the location. And then if you happen to know the birth year to within about 10 years, go ahead and put that down. If you are not sure if you could be off by 15, 20 years, it's actually better to leave the year off. But if you can get within 10 years, go ahead and put in this case, 1855. And I will search. Let's see how many results we get. Gosh, that's almost 200,000 results. I will not be looking at every one of those. So let's go ahead and try and narrow down these results to try to get maybe just our Josiah Reynolds. Let's look at the location to start with. Because we actually chose from that drop-down menu, I can say I only want people if they lived exactly in Vinyl Haven. Or I could say I'll go a little broader. I'll say if they lived anywhere in Knox County or Knox and surrounding counties, or anywhere in Maine, Maine and surrounding states, anywhere in the US, or broad. I'll take any or no location at all in my record. And for a year, we can do something similar. We can say, I want exactly 1855, plus or minus 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and broad. Broad can be any year or no year in the record. So I'll go ahead and say plus or minus 5 years on this. I almost never do exact for a year of birth because many records only ask for an age and not a year of birth. And so you could be off by 1 year just at the very beginning. And that's assuming that everybody knew how old they were and always gave the correct answer. So in this case, I'll start with plus or minus 5 years. For a last name like Reynolds, you can have an exact spelling. Again, I don't recommend exact in a surname because we all know spelling doesn't count in genealogy. So you could also say, I want exact in similar names, exact in something that sounds like, not just written like, but sounds like. Or you can say a broad spelling, anything even remotely or not remotely related to Reynolds. I'll leave it on sounds like and similar. For a first name, you get one extra choice. You can also have initials. So if I find a record that's just J.A. Reynolds, choosing this option would allow me to see that record. But I'm going to go even narrower. I'll just say exact and similar, hoping to pick up a nickname, say Joe for Josiah, something like that. All right, let's update our results, and we'll go from 197,000 to 5. And in fact, all 5 of these results are the Josiah Reynolds that I was looking for. We've got birth years that range anywhere from 1854 to 1858. But he's always listed in Vinyl Haven, even in the cemetery and Find a Grave records. But as it turns out, that actually was a little too narrow. There are other records about this Josiah that we didn't see because we went too narrow. So let's widen our search, broaden our search by location, and I'll look not just in Vinyl Haven, but in anywhere in Knox County. And let's see if we get another record here. And we do. It's the 1920 census. Josiah was widowed at this point and living on the neighboring island of North Haven. We might even try to widen our search by his birth year and go all the way to broad and see what happens. We go from 6 records to 7, and I'll scroll down. It's the last one here, the Maine Marriage Index. Now, this is a Josiah Reynolds. As it turns out, this is the son of the original Josiah. But the reason this record pops up here is because when I click on it, you'll see there is no information about the birth date of Josiah Reynolds in this record. So if I had, even if I was searching for this particular Josiah, if I had put in his correct birth year and said anywhere from exact to plus or minus 10, this record would not have shown up because we have a record that has no birth year information whatsoever So it only gets captured with that broad search. So I hope you use these tips to narrow your searches when you're doing your genealogy. Thank you very much.